How do both the United States and China benefit from a military-industrial complex? After World War II, President Eisenhower explained that America needed to be wary of the military-industrial complex. After World War II, America came out as the strongest country in the world. It was far away from Europe. It sent its troops to Europe to help fight against the Nazis, and it won. And then America was in a place where it could send its money to restore Europe. Its industrial base had been destroyed, and this put America in a superpower position. Many people criticize the American government today around the world, saying that because of this relationship, the American government has an incentive to build up its military, because through this, it can retain its power over the world. And even if you don't believe in that, whenever there is a war, companies that invest in military weapons, their stock goes up. So there is an incentive there. China is often one of the countries that criticizes America for this relationship, but it is also based on a similar relationship itself. In 1850 to 1949, China saw itself go from one of the richest countries in the world to one of the poorest. And how did it restore power to itself? Through the Communist Revolution, through Mao Zedong, who was a military leader himself. After the country had been split by civil war, by the Japanese invasion, by warlords in the country, Mao Zedong led the country back to being somewhat sustainable, but he used the military to do this. And so throughout the 20th century, the PLA, the People's Liberation Army, was a significant force in retaining power in the country. However, after China opened up to the world in the 1980s, the military had less reliance on the government because the government was downsizing the army, and a lot of people went out of work and had to find other ways to find living expenses. The military, too, no longer getting money from the Chinese government, used the possessions that it owned to get capital itself. For example, some buildings that were owned by the military became hotels so that military people could get money. And so over the past 30 years, even though people often criticize the Chinese government for saying that it's doing this and that with its military, the relationship between the military and the party is not 100%. And in fact, there is some friction there because of the freedom that the military was given after the country became more capitalized. One may also wonder if the Chinese government actually doesn't want to invade Taiwan, and that it realizes that its power comes from nationalism and saying that Taiwan will be reclaimed. Because if they went around after 50 years of saying that that's what's going to happen and say we're not going to do that, how many people in China would lose respect for their government? Just a thought. Incentives are not really always the exact reason why things happen, but it is interesting to think why war is actually sometimes a good thing.